Hello, I'm Eric Gemmel. Brian Alder's with me, and Eric Higgins is with us as well. It's tournament time. It's been a long time since we've done something like this.
It's been what? Is it going to be year two? Not
Year
doing it?
three, year two since we've done this. Last time we did it was in studio. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, obviously last year with everything going on. And this season's definitely weird as I'm looking at my bracket. So many teams with so many different records. Like Gonzaga's undefeated, and you have some teams that barely play 20 games,
Yep.
this is a weird bracket, and we are here to help you fill out your brackets before Thursday night's tip-offs for the first four in. So we're going to start off in the West with Gonzaga against either Norfolk State or Appalachian State. I think this one's a no-brainer. You got to go with the team that is obviously undefeated, even though they play in a weak conference. But if Gonzaga does run the table and win the whole thing, they will be like the last undefeated team to win the title of the Indiana Hoosiers in '76. So the next one, 8 and 9s are always tricky to pick. 8 and 9s can either go one way or the other. So it's Oklahoma out of the Big 12, who's 15 and 10, and Missouri, who's 16 and 9. So Eric, who do you like here?
Personally, I would be going with Oklahoma for this one just because they are averaging slightly more points per game, even if it is just maybe like 1 point, because it pretty much is. I've just got a feeling that they've performed a little more against the top 25 teams. They've had 12 total, whereas Missouri has only had 6. Looking at that number, you can see more experience against tougher teams. They'll probably know what they're getting into going up against Missouri. And then even if they make it through, going up against Gonzaga, still going to be a tough one. But I mean, at least they've got the experience under their belt, so they know, like, okay, we're looking at a tough defense. We're looking at a strong scoring offense. We got to look out for this guy and this guy here. Watch for these specific plays. We've got the experience. We know what's going to happen. We just got to watch for it. I'm picking them.
Yep. Brian, you rolling with us with Oklahoma? Because I'm rolling with the Sooners.
I'm going to go in the opposite direction of you guys. I'm going to go with Missouri on this one.
Second branch up of the entire bracket, and we're already going opposite directions. All right.
This doesn't have anything to do with seeding. It doesn't have anything to do with,
It's just a toss-up.
Records. It's just a toss-up, and I think Missouri is slightly have a better shot at competing with these bigger teams than Oklahoma does. They've had their ups and downs. They've been messed up a little bit when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, that could always be in your head, not having too much of that, mentality in. And I just think Missouri has a better odds. I want to say I'm sorry, I'm just looking up something real quick. I know for a fact they have slightly better odds to win the entire thing to Oklahoma. And I want to base it a little more off that, even though plus 6,000, still not the best, but it's better in Oklahoma, so I'm going to ride Missouri on this one.
Oh, man, if you put money on that one and they won the whole thing, oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
So we have a 5 and 12 again in the past, going back to the 2019 tournament and 2018 tournament, if you will. 5 and 12s, 4 and 13s, and 6 and 11s are also very tricky. Very, especially for this year, because we don't know. In previous tournaments, we would know, like, okay, they played this amount of games and they barely won their conference tournament. Well, it's just so if, again, like I said, Gonzaga wins the whole thing, they will have played as many games as Ohio State did in the regular season. Just an example. So we have Creighton out of the Big East and the University of California, St. Barbara. Yes, I'm proud of myself. I got that one right. So yeah, this one I'm going with Creighton. Even though Creighton's a iffy team around tournament time, I just got to go with Creighton just because I don't think Santa Barbara is actually used to tournament life and stuff like that. So
I agree with you there, but I'm still picking UCSB.
What?
Okay, all right.
I mean, they're okay, lower division still. It's fine, it's like that. They still performed really well. 22 and 4 on the season, Creighton going 20 and 8. They had 5 matchups against the top 25 teams. UCSB has not had any, but still, looking at some of their numbers, they've got a great defense coming into this. They've got a good scoring offense coming into this. I feel like it's not going to be any kind of huge, big blowout. It's going to be close, but I feel like UCSB, they're just going to come out on top by maybe a couple points.
Okay.
So
Brian?
you guys have talked about, Aaron, you talked about 2019, the 5 and 12 seed. I think the one that we're all talking about is that Murray State Marquette matchup with John Morant and Marcus Howard. That was an insane game where you can see anything happen.
Yes. I remember picking that one too.
That was a crazy game to pick, but I understand your logic, Eric, but heck no, you got to pick Creighton, man.
All right.
Creighton has had so much experience in the past, so you got to pick them.
Number 4, Virginia. And representing the MAC, Ohio. As you recall from the last tournament, I could pull up the tape if I want to, but I'm not going to. I said one seed is going to go down in that tournament. I said 2 years ago, and it did, and it was Virginia that went down. I take that back. That was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And then what did Virginia do the next year? They turned it around and won the whole thing.
I remember that.
So that does not matter to me. I've got to take a MAC team. I'll take Ohio.
Honestly,
Eric, what do you think?
I mean, Ohio's coming in averaging almost 81 points scored per game, which is...
And keep in mind the MAC season was pretty screwed up this year.
That is true. That is 10 more points than Virginia's coming in with their 90. Okay. With their 68.
Yeah.
But they do have 4 matchups against top 10 teams. They went 18-6 in their season. Ohio went 16-7. I'm picking Virginia in this one just because I feel like they've got the last 3 years, they've just been all over sports news. I mean, good and bad. I guess I should say really good and really bad.
There you go. It's cookie code.
I mean, if you're a student at Virginia or a player on Virginia, the staff, in that time frame, you lost to a 16 seed and then you win the national championship the next year. That's a hell of a roller coaster.
It was all for marketing. Big marketing move.
It's all about the money.
I'm picking Virginia.
They're going to make a movie about it in 20 years.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of documentary or something.
Brian, are you taking a MAC team or are you taking Virginia out of the ACC?
I've been reading on with some sports analytics. I've been hearing what YouTube have been saying. Virginia's been rocky for the past few years. Everybody that I've read, a lot of people have been riding Ohio, especially Jay Billis. I think for this one, Ohio will make a sneaky run. We'll go with Ohio on this as a huge upset in the round of 64.
All right. Now, a 6-11 University of Southern California at 22-7 against either the winner of Drake, not the rapper, or Wichita State, who has been known to be a very streaky team in these tournaments.
They can shock you.
Good one.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm taking Wichita State to beat Drake and to beat USC.
Whoa.
I just like it. USC is one of those teams that I don't trust in these tournaments. It's just, they're way too inconsistent. I mean, you don't hear USC going on Sweet 16 runs or Elite 8 runs. You know, you hear about other teams doing that, like Baylor, Tennessee having a magical run, West Virginia, stuff like that. You don't hear USC doing it. UCLA is a prime example of a California team that can make a run. But USC, no. I go with Wichita.
I do agree with that. However, they did believe, if I'm right, they beat UCLA twice this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
there's been some close games.
Yeah. Yep. Lost to UConn, lost to BYU, of course. Lost to Colorado 3 times. I don't really see them making that big of a run. But, I mean, I kind of like them, but not as much as I'm liking Wichita State right now.
Like it. Brian?
I got you different again, man. You guys are on a different mindset than me. I mean, you guys are right. Los Angeles, UCLA, USC, whoever you're thinking of, they have not seen the brightest days in the NCAA tournament since like Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook was back in college. And that was a long time ago. It's been like way before these current players were born. But I've been watching a few USC games. You're talking about the UCLA games. They've been close games. They fight hard. And I've been reading a bunch of interviews. I think they believe they have a good shot of just making a huge run. And I'm going to go off the chip on their shoulder mentality. I'm going to go USC, even though they're the higher seed in this situation.
All right. Kansas, Eastern Washington.
I'm already
I
writing
think
this
this
one
one's a
down.
no-brainer.
Yep.
Eastern Washington. No.
Kansas has been a little rocky this season, though. We've
Kansas
seen
has
them
been
rise.
rocky,
We've seen
but-
them fall.
Oh yeah, but I still like Kansas in this one.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know who Kansas is.
It's going to be Kansas. They went up against 14. They had 14 games that's top 25 teams, and 6 of those they lost, which is pretty much the majority of their losses on their record. But I mean, even then,
Yeah.
Eastern Washington, not a top 25 team. That's
All right. A 7-10 matchup. Oregon, Virginia Commonwealth. VCU's known for their runs. Oregon's known for their runs. These ones are always tough as well. I'll take Virginia Commonwealth. I like Virginia Commonwealth in this game. It's just, again, like Oklahoma and Missouri, it's a toss-up. I just like VCU's odds. I really do.
I think this is going to be the game of the first round. I think this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one where something crazy happens and it's going to be close the whole way through and they're going to overtime.
Okay.
I want to see it. I think it would be fantastic to see. But, this one's tough. This one's really tough because they're both close with their records. 20-6 Oregon, VCU 19-7. Both are putting up good numbers offensively and defensively. They both got one matchup against a top 25. They both did relatively well in their conferences. I'm picking VCU, though, just going with a gut feeling.
All right. Brian.
Man, if we were all betting this, man.
Something different?
Guys, look at Oregon, man. They have 2 of their players averaging more than 16 points a game. They have one of the best defenders in the country. They have 3 players selected to, I think, Pac-12 first team, man.
Yep.
I don't know how you guys can go against Oregon. It could be a close game, like you said. If it comes to defensive possessions, I'm going Oregon all the way.
All right. And then this should be a no-brainer. Iowa,
VCU.
Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Iowa's been such a struggle for any Big Ten fan to watch. It's just been so
That's
dominant
sure.
with Luka Garza.
Oh, yeah. So
They
Iowa.
slipped, though. We've seen them at their weaknesses. If it's
Yep.
going all offensive, they can't, and they double Luka. I don't know, man.
Yep.
I'm going to pick Iowa on this, but watch out for them. They can make a huge run or completely crap the carpet.
My only
Right.
feeling with Iowa is that they don't have as strong defense as other top other 1 seeds, other
Yeah.
2 seeds, other 3 seeds. But I mean,
That's
other than
definitely a
that,
struggle.
they're putting up good numbers offensively. They can move the ball well and they can find a way to get right through up the lane.
A lot of that has to do with having a big man. Not a lot of schools rely on big man post game. They always rely on shooting.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have that presence and that he can shoot too, you have
Yep.
a huge defensive game plan.
Absolutely. So now we head down to the East.
Oh boy.
Big Ten champions of the regular season, Michigan at 20-4, playing the winner of either Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. This is another no-brainer as well. It's Michigan.
But now
Amazing
it's going to
season.
be, when is he coming back? When are we going to get the full Michigan roster back?
Yeah,
All
that's
of
true.
injuries, everybody rested. How far are they going to make it?
Well, that's why we're here. All right. So LSU and St. Bonaventure, the Bonnies, are in there as a 9 seed taking on LSU from the SEC. LSU. I really just like LSU because I don't think St. Bonaventure has that much experience. LSU known for winning a game or 2 in this tournament, but not that many. So, I mean, again, 8 and 9 seed, the toss-up, just like in the West region, I'm going with LSU.
Brian?
I mean, if any of you guys have been looking into St. Bonaventure Bonnies, I mean, they've been fighting tooth
boy.
and nail to
Here we
make it
go.
to this tournament. I think, again, I'm just going to have to go different, man. Their defense has been really good in their division, at least. Who knows? They haven't played as much games, obviously, I think because of, the COVID-19 pandemic ruining their chances, but I got to go.
We
I gotta
should
go the Bonnies.
we should have taken bets on see how long it would take for us to actually all three of us to actually agree on one matchup.
I mean,
that's
I'm
honestly-
kind
Not a
of
one seed.
on Brian with this one. I don't think that's going to be my overall pick for it, but this is the one that's kind of like swaying me a little bit because SBU has been putting up fantastic numbers with their defense, holding teams low below 70 consistently.
Yep.
Both LSU and SBU have about the same conference record, but I mean LSU is in a higher conference, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
they
I
play
just wanted to
Alabama.
make sure that LSU is putting up more numbers offensively, averaging about 12 points more, 82 to 70. They're not putting up the greatest numbers with their defense. They're still letting in about 70s to 80 points. But I feel like that's going to translate over well against SBU, and they're just going to kind of take the experience against tougher teams. They're going to look at the lower divisions. They're just kind of be like, okay, I see where you're coming from, but I've played against better. And I feel like LSU is just going to kind of take over there and dominate a little bit.
I want to say one more thing real quick when it comes to this game. They both play on the offensive side just way different. The Bonnies like to play half court. They like to slow things down, make sure they have their game plan set, X's, O's, everything. LSU is way different. They play super freaking fast, man.
They are in your face.
So the Bonnies are going to have a really tough time trying to stop that. But if they do, and their half court offense goes smoothly, the Bonnies are going to win this, I think, by double digits.
I agree.
Oh, okay. So
that's my
now,
prediction.
A 5-12 Colorado. And number 12, Georgetown, who won the Big East under head coach Patrick Ewing.
That's a great story.
And because of that story, Georgetown is beating Colorado in the first round.
We agree.
Does Eric agree, though?
Okay, Georgetown has 7 matchups against the top 25. Conference record was losing 7-9. Still took the W in the tournament, though, which is very impressive. They're giving up about just as much as they're putting in, though. Colorado not giving up nearly as many as Georgetown is, but they're putting up about the same numbers offensively. I feel like this is all just going to come down to who is going to step up on defense first, who is going to get through, and who's going to push till the end and stop pretty much as they can. I'm honestly kind of feeling Colorado, but I want to ride Georgetown with this one.
Yeah.
This is a 5-12 matchup you guys want to watch on TV, man.
Oh, yeah. So the first one we all agree on. That's not a number 1. All right.
Yes, there you go.
4 and 13, we have Florida State against Unc Greensboro. This one's a no-brainer for me. Florida State has been dominant in recent tournaments going back to 19 and 18. They had their Elite 8 run, I think last year or 2 years ago. Keep thinking there was a tournament last year. They had their run in 19 or 18. They had both good runs in those tournaments. And I think they're just going to keep this momentum going here.
I'm with you on this.
I agree too. Yeah.
All right.
They were rocky in the tournament, but I think they'll find a way to bounce back.
And this one's the biggest one, probably for on Brian's sake. If you haven't guessed already, the first team as the 11th seed as a play-in, Michigan State and UCLA. The winner plays BYU. So I'm going to start with Brian on this one. Brian, is it your Spartans winning against UCLA and then losing to BYU, or are they winning both to get to the round of 32?
Hear me out, okay? Right now, I'm going to talk about the Msu basketball schedule and season they had other than the other two teams. Michigan State had a very great start to the season, and then they went on like their 3 or 4 game losing streak. They got hit by the pandemic. That's not an excuse, obviously, but, they were playing very bad defensively, as we can all know.
Oh, yeah.
But around mid to the end of the season, they shook things around when it came to the higher ranked teams in the Big Ten. Obviously, because of COVID, they all played in their conference, but Big Ten was very good.
Yeah.
And I believe they have I think they have 3 top 5 wins, I believe. I know they beat
Illinois,
Michigan, Illinois, and who's the last team?
You guys beat Iowa?
Because I don't think so. I'm sorry about this, but I know it was back-to-back, like a 4 and a 5 win. But yeah, going off that, and Michigan State is so familiar in this tournament. Like,
yeah, but not in this part. They're not familiar with this part of the tournament playing in.
no, they're not. And they're obviously losing a lot of star players. But Michigan State just has that mentality. Tom Izzo knows what's going to happen. Everyone knows the rules now. Healthy Josh Langford back. Joey Hauser knows what to do. Rocket Watts, he's been having those big games lately.
Okay.
Michigan State beating UCLA, beating BYU. Pounding the fist right now.
All right. As much as I've looked at State this entire year, probably one of the worst Michigan State teams I've seen in a long time.
Fair to say.
15-12, not used to it. You beat Illinois, you beat Michigan, but you guys ended up losing by 30 to Iowa at home. And then you guys got manhandled in the first round of the Big Ten tournament or the second round by Maryland. Just inconsistent. This isn't a Michigan State team that's led by a Cassius Winston, a Matt McQuaid, Corey Lucius or Kalen Lucas.
Reliable big men.
Or Draymond Green or something. This is
Xavier
not
Tillman, yeah.
Denzel Valentine. It's not one of those teams. But even though their rosters change every year, their coaching hasn't. And their coaching knows how to win it in this time of year. And man.
Be honest with yourself, man. Don't sugarcoat it. Just let it all out.
Michigan State over UCLA and BYU.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Really wasn't.
It's not happening. Sorry, guys.
There we go. That's what I was waiting to hear.
It's not happening. It's just not gonna happen.
They went in the playing game.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get in. Michigan State's gonna get in. They're not gonna step up to BYU. And just saying, Michigan and Michigan State played twice. State won by 1 point. Michigan won by 10.
I see that Michigan pillow back there, Eric.
I don't think that's a valid argument here. I'm just gonna.
It's pretty valid.
It does show that there's no consistency though. That I'd say it shows that. But I mean, if you're looking at that matchup, I'd say Michigan takes it overall just because their win was a little better.
So, all right.
No discredit to you guys though. Michigan State still, they're a good team.
I'm just happy they got in. That's all I'm saying. I'm just happy they're in.
Let's give a shout out to one of our former co-hosts, Mr. Benjamin Clark.
Oh boy, I know where this is going.
Longhorns are a 3 seed against Albany Christian. For Ben, hook 'em.
I know for a fact he hasn't won the whole thing. I know that for a fact.
Hook 'em.
It's possible. It's very possible too. That's the thing.
Hook
very
'em.
possible this season.
So
I'm going Texas this one, yeah.
I feel like it might be a little rough, but I'm still picking Texas overall in the end. It's gonna be
that. Ben made us all agree on one thing. That's a shock.
We have 7-seeded UConn, 10-seeded Maryland. It's UConn. It's tournament basketball. No matter if it's men's or women's basketball, doesn't matter. UConn's still a powerhouse. I'm going with UConn. Keep in mind, my explanation short, sweet, and brief, so we can get through these matchups.
I'm gonna disagree with you there. I think I'm just gonna disagree with you there. Just because I feel like there's not as much experience against the top 25 teams. They haven't won against the top 25 team. And I've just got that feeling, a 10-7.
All right.
It's a 10-7.
Fair enough. Brian?
Well, I'm going to go with Eric on this. Maryland has basically got a very similar resume to MSU. They did pretty well. They had their ups and downs. They're playing a very tough conference in the Big Ten. They are inconsistent. But because of playing in this great conference, I think they know how to step up. They know how to win the big games. I'm going Maryland on this game as well.
All right. And finally, we usually see this school as a top seed in football, but Alabama's a 2 seed here
New one, and I love to see it.
against Iona, who's 12-5, who played 17 games this entire season.
That's crazy.
Going
Good for
against the
them.
Crimson Tide, who have played 30 games. Roll, Tide, roll.
30 games, and they've won.
They won their conference tournament too.
24. 24 and 6.
Yeah, I was going to try to get a percentage. The mental math is not here after going to the gym. So it's a little rough there. But I mean, either way, Alabama 24 and 6, Iona, what is that? 12-5. Yeah.
5.
Yep.
Roll Tide, man. Roll Tide.
All right. So that completes
Period.
the west side of the bracket with West and East region. So what's going to happen now is that the three of us are going to take turns filling out our brackets individually, going all the way down until we have our final four, our champion of the East and our champion of the West region. And once we're done with that, we will flip to the right side and do the South and the Midwest. So I will go first and make mine pretty brief after looking at these matchups as you guys were explaining your picks. Going all the way back up top to the West, Gonzaga, Oklahoma I have. And Gonzaga is going to take this one. Okay. Just because Gonzaga, I don't think Oklahoma can compete with Gonzaga. And Gonzaga is just too big of a team. They're just too big of a powerhouse. Now this one's interesting for me. A 5-seeded Creighton, a 13-seeded Ohio. Ohio is going to beat Creighton and go to the Sweet 16. All right. Wichita State, an 11 seed against Kansas. The 3 seed's going down. Wichita State will take this one.
I'm very shocked.
VCU and Iowa. The Hawkeyes are going to soar. All right. Then I head down to the East. Michigan, LSU. Michigan will take it. Just because Michigan probably by that time will be healthy, have all their guys, and they will just starting to hit their stride in the tournament. Patrick Ewing's Georgetown and Florida State. The Seminoles will be moving on, keeping that momentum going from tournaments past. Make another ride here. Michigan State and Texas. I'm sorry, State. It's the end for you. Hook 'em. Texas will move on. Alabama, UConn. Roll Tide in that matchup. So as I head back up to the top, Gonzaga and the 13th seeded Ohio. The magical ride for Ohio ends. Gonzaga will take this one by a pretty good margin in my prediction here. Wichita State and Iowa. The Hawkeyes will soar again. Not by much. They'll squeak by Wichita State. Michigan and Florida State. The Wolverines will go down, and the Florida State Seminoles will advance to the Elite Eight. Texas and Alabama. Texas will go on and beat Bama to get to the Elite Eight. All right, so my Elite Eight, Gonzaga, or for my first half of the Elite Eight, Gonzaga, Iowa, Florida State, and Texas. Gonzaga is going to beat Iowa. So I have my first team in the Final Four. Florida State, Texas, Seminoles over the Longhorns. And that is my left side. Brian, you have a very perplexed look on your face. Let's hear what your matchups are going to be getting down to the Final Four here.
I want to say we have similar for the round of 32. So let's just start off with there. I believe, yeah. Even though I say Missouri would beat Oklahoma, there's no way they can beat Gonzaga. I have the number 1 overall seed winning that matchup. I think me and you are kind of similar when it comes to this Ohio run because I have Ohio being Creighton too.
All right.
You just have that feeling of that certain team making a weird run. So I'm going with Ohio on that. This is where we kind of, I think, change up a little bit once we start getting a little more down. USC and Kansas, I mean, like we said before, we know whose Kansas identity is. They're such a great team. We've got to go Kansas in that matchup. And Oregon and Iowa, like we said, Iowa's just been a powerhouse this season. Michigan, yeah, there's no way Michigan can lose against Bonnie's. I think the Bonnie's run sadly ends there. But then down here, we definitely kind of change it up a little bit.
So
You are really riding on
in
you're
Florida
really
State,
riding
right?
on Florida State. Yeah, you're really running on Florida State. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm really running on Georgetown.
Oh, you
I
got
just love
Georgetown in a Cinderella story, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
Patrick Ewing coaching these young kids up. Who knows last time they really felt like they had a really good shot, and I think they do. I think Georgetown will end Florida State's season right there.
Okay.
And then with my school,
You're
I
smart.
can't be acting like this the whole time. I agree. Texas, I think, will manhandle MSU. I don't think Michigan State can make it this year. I don't think it's their year. And then I think we also agree with Alabama on this. Alabama is in such a powerhouse in basketball this season. They're going to beat
Which is
Maryland.
weird to say.
It's very weird to say, but Alabama will continue on.
All right, your Sweet 16, starting with Gonzaga and Ohio.
This is going to be pretty similar when I say this, but Gonzaga, like I said, is going to run through any team in front of them. Ohio, nice to see you. You got to go home.
Cinderella story is over. Yep.
Is over. Kansas and Iowa. I'm really riding on Iowa. I've personally seen them in person play their games. They're very competitive. Luka Garza's a maniac. I don't think Kansas can handle that big man. Iowa's going to continue on in this tournament.
Michigan, Florida State. Or did I take that back for you? Michigan, Georgetown.
We had a little difference, I think, in here as well. I don't think Michigan will go down. Michigan has been very dominant. Juwan Howard knows what he's doing. Isaiah Livers has been huge for them. I don't know if he comes back anytime soon, but if he does by then, they're gonna manhandle Georgetown because Georgetown is not ready for a school like UFM. We are similar on this. I'm very much so riding on Texas. Again, just Texas Longhorns, man.
All right, up to your
Elite Eight matchup.
Gonzaga, Iowa.
This isn't an argument to me.
All
Gonzaga is very good this season. And Michigan and Texas, sorry, Ben. Longhorns, pull them away.
All
Michigan,
right.
Michigan, Gonzaga in their final four matchup.
Your final four matchup. All right, Eric, to complete the left side to get to the final four. Who you got? Let's go.
Come on, it's Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga.
Okay.
It's Gonzaga. It doesn't matter who it is. It's Gonzaga. All right, so then we got UCSB, UVA. This is the one that's going to be a little bit rough for me. I don't see I don't see UVA doing it. UCSB.
Whoa.
Coming into Gonzaga to meet them in the Sweet 16. Coming down, we got Wichita State versus Kansas.
Yes, sir.
This is one that I'm kind of feeling. Wichita is going to be there. Kansas, they exist in this tournament. They've existed in this tournament. Kansas is going to move on. VCU and Iowa, it's going to be Iowa. Come on.
Your Wolverines, that's not a question.
Oh, of course they're going to come through. If Livers is there, this is where I'm kind of controversial on my pick right here. Livers is there, they make it. Livers doesn't come back, it's going to be tough. Yep. I'm still picking Michigan overall because I feel like Livers will be back by then.
All right. And
now
you took Colorado?
Georgetown.
Or Georgetown. Georgetown
versus Florida State.
Yes.
I'm liking Florida State. I'm liking Georgetown. They both looked good this season. Well, I'm not going to say they looked like the best this season, but I still say they both had pretty good seasons. Patrick Ewing and Georgetown.
Let's go. Drop the hammer.
All right.
BYU.
Yep. BYU versus Texas. BYU, Texas, putting up about the same numbers defensively. BYU slightly higher offensively. They do not have the same experience that Texas does against the top 25 teams. We're going to hook them.
Hook them. And then Maryland and Bama.
This is where it's going to be a little bit iffy for me because we don't see Bama in this situation a whole lot.
In basketball. We see them in
basketball.
Football.
Football, they're always there. There's no question. You're going to see Bama all over the place. They exist in football. And this year, I think they're going to exist in basketball too. We're picking Bama.
All right. So your Sweet 16, you have Gonzaga and
Who cares?
Gonzaga. Okay.
No offense to these other teams. They're great teams. But come on. Top scoring in the country right now, averaging 92 points a game and only giving up 69.
Yep.
Undefeated season.
Yep.
26-0.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yep. All right.
Imagine. They're putting up NBA numbers almost on offense.
Kansas, Iowa.
Kansas and Iowa, they got a big. I feel like Kansas is going to be the one that kind of starts to shut down that big man. I feel like it's going to be Kansas. And I mean, other teams, of course, you got to try. But Kansas I feel like, is going to be the one that dominates down low in this game. If it comes to it, Iowa is putting up the numbers. But if you can shut down the big guys, you can shut down the inside. Kansas will take this. I'm gonna pick Kansas because I feel like they're gonna make some kind of a strong defensive presence in this game.
All right. Michigan, Georgetown.
This is another one where if Livers doesn't come back, Michigan's run is over. If he's there, Michigan's going far. Livers, I feel like, has one of the most impactful presences on this team. He's just so dominant. When he went down, Michigan wasn't the same with their starting squad. They weren't putting up the same offensive numbers, and that kind of forced the bench players to kind of step up a little bit. They've been able to do it, but it's going to get rough in this tournament. If Livers is back, Michigan. If he's not back, it's going to be Georgetown. By this time, I'm expecting Livers to be back. I'm picking Michigan.
All right. Texas and
Texas, Alabama. Here we go. Another one. Feels weird. Feels really weird. I don't know. Texas 19-7, Alabama 24-6. That's 30 games in total going up against 26. Bama does not have the same experience that Texas with top 25s.
Oh, God.
It's, man, I'm going to say that we're going to have to hook them here.
Hook them. All right. Your Elite Eight, Gonzaga, Kansas.
Come on.
He doesn't care.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Michigan, Texas.
Ooh, what are you thinking, man?
It's another one of those things. If Livers is here, Livers is here. I'm picking Michigan. All right. I've wrote him out this far. I mean, I might as well.
Gonzaga and Michigan in Eric's Final Four. All right, we're jumping to the top of the South. Starting off with Baylor and Hartford. This is not even a question for anybody here. We all know the answer. It is Baylor.
Shout out to these Texas teams, man. What a heck of a season basketball-wise they've all had.
This one is probably the most intriguing 8 and 9 matchup of the entire tournament. North Carolina and Wisconsin. Very tough. Oh, boy.
Every year I've wrote out North Carolina.
Both these teams, like Eric said about Texas and stuff, they've been here. They know how this tournament goes. They know how deep they can go. Each team's been on big runs in the past. The Big Ten's representing. I'm going with the Badgers.
What do you think, Eric?
I've rode with North Carolina the
Brian?
last 3 tournaments, and it's just kind of been a little rocky this year. Last time I picked North Carolina to go deep in the tournament, I picked it right, and they won the whole thing.
Yes, you did. You picked that right.
The next
3 or 4
year,
seasons ago. Yes, you did.
The next year, I saw Virginia going with a gut feeling. Got that one right. I don't think I did on this show, but I definitely did in one of my pools.
Yeah, you said that. I remember you talked to me off camera.
I do about 3 of them every year.
Yep. So, all right, Brian.
You guys have said it. 2 or 3 years ago, 3, 4, these 2 teams could have been potential Final Four, championship teams. Like, these teams were insane. They know what they're doing. The last time there was a college basketball season, 2019, these teams were very different from what we're used to.
Oh yeah.
I got to go with Aron on this. I think Big Ten just has a different play than the ACC this year in basketball. So I got to go with Wisconsin.
All right. And now another 5-12. Villanova, 16-6. Withdraw, if I'm saying that right. 23-1. Does not matter. Nova is going to advance.
Nova makes a run every year.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Nova.
Nova.
This is a very different team we're seeing from Nova, though. But yes,
I
they've
agree.
had very good season. It's not what we're used to, but they've
Yep.
dominant.
I agree.
Another Big Ten team, 4-seeded Purdue against another Texas school, North Texas.
Look at that Texas, man. I'm telling you.
Does not matter for North Texas, though, because the Boilermakers always make a run every year. It's Purdue.
I'm with you.
I'm with you.
All right. Another Texas school, Texas Tech, against Utah State.
That's where you see it, man. All the Texas teams.
Here we go. Here we go. Read them and wait, boys. Utah State.
I don't entirely hate that pick. They're putting up the same numbers offensive and defensively as Texas Tech.
Utah
The
State
record
by,
is the big difference here.
Utah State by 10 or more. Read them and weep.
10 or more. 10 or
Upset.
more. I mean, I'm with you on the upset. I can see that happening. I don't know about 10 though. Like Texas Tech, they weren't performing against the top 25 teams, but they still got 11 matchups there.
Yeah.
USC, they've got one there. Overall in the conference, USC did do quite a bit better compared to how Texas Tech has done in their conference. I mean, I'm picking USU.
All right, Brian.
Texas Tech
All
has
right.
beaten Texas during the regular season.
True.
They've been very close against a bunch of other top 10 ranked teams. They completely demolish the teams that they should beat. I'm going Texas Tech on this.
All right. Arkansas against the toothpaste of Colgate.
Toothpaste.
Who would have thought Arkansas? I used to wear an Arkansas shirt that my family gave me, and I got so much crap for wearing that. Everybody was like, they're trash. And look at them now. I should have kept that shirt.
I'm going with Arkansas.
I don't know how you can't, man.
Time to spit out that toothpaste.
Watch out for them. Arkansas is going to be a team that you're going to
I think
possibly be
upset.
surprised about. You could be very surprised by Arkansas in this tournament.
I'm picking an upset.
All right.
Oh, come on again, man.
Yeah, Colgate's putting up 86 points a game, and they're only letting up about 68, 69.
They
How many games did they play?
this year?
15 games?
15.
15?
No.
15. I'm still picking them. I got a feeling.
Arkansas played
feeling.
almost double the games they've played. Almost double.
That's fine.
All right. Florida, Virginia Tech to 7-10. I'm going with the Gators.
Brian?
Florida Gators. Just like the way.
Was it Virginia Tech that made a run in their tournament?
Yes.
They had that story. They had that chip, but I don't know much about these two teams. I'm not going to lie, but I'm just going to go with a gut feeling about Florida on this.
They beat Nova by 8, and they beat Virginia by 14.
All right. That makes me more confident.
All right.
They beat Clemson by 6.
Even more
I'm
confident.
I'm picking VT.
All right. All right. Ohio State, the Big Ten tournament runner-up against Oral Roberts.
Yeah, great Big Ten
this one's any
tournament.
up for debate.
Eric,
Ohio State.
Okay.
here we go.
All right. Ohio State, it's going to be my pick, but they don't have as much of an offensive presence as their opponents.
How many points are they averaging?
Ooh, Ohio State?
Let's look at this.
77.
Okay. It's about, I would say maybe a little above average than usual.
77 to 82.
Okay. I get what you're saying, my friend.
They don't have the matchups against the teams that they need, though. So, of course, it's Ohio State. Like, they don't have the experience against these big teams this season, at least. I don't feel like they're going to do it. But I mean, Ohio State. It's Ohio State. Runner-up, Big Ten tournament.
All right.
All right. So that completes the South. The Midwest. Probably the next to Gonzaga, the most talked about team in college basketball. Illinois against Drexel. This one should not be up for debate either. Illinois is playing out of their mind. They are playing unbelievable. They made a fantastic run in the Big Ten tournament. Even though Michigan's, they have some losses to Michigan State and Michigan along the way, but that's just how competitive the Big Ten was this year. So they're back again. Loyola Chicago is back. Like, love it or hate it, they're back just to screw up your brackets one way or the other. And hopefully for this time for me, because I didn't pick them the last time they made their incredible run, I am taking Loyola. I'm taking the Ramblers, ironically enough, to beat Georgia Tech.
Ryan?
I mean, what's his name? Desyomu?
Yeah.
He's an animal. I remember watching the beginning of the season, his huge numbers. He was starting to get talked about. I don't think anybody in this nation expected Illinois to be as amazing as they were. I give them so much credit for such an amazing season.
Oh, yeah.
Big Ten, they play a lot of close games. I'm not going to lie. They win some, they lost a few. They beat a lot of their ranked teams, And again, they're running the Big Ten tournament. I think they're going to make a huge run in this. I think they're going to definitely beat this.
Wait, hold on. Did you take Loyola or Georgia Tech first?
Oh, Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Have you seen the defensive numbers from Loyola?
It's Loyola. They got Sister Jean.
Sister Jean can't put on those tennis shoes and block the crap out
Come
of this on you. That's all I can say.
Come on. Loyola's got 28 games played, only lost 4, went 16-2 in their conference, putting up about 72 points per game and only giving up 55.
Hey, and one of those.
And they're gonna lose the first game.
You are crazy.
And one of those wins Loyola had was a 20-plus point win over Central Michigan. So, hey.
And they're gonna still lose the first game.
Okay.
And
so Tennessee,
Oregon
State. I got the Volunteers in that one. Tennessee always makes their runs. Brian, do you have the Volunteers or do you have the Beavers of Oregon State?
It's a 5 and 12. It's a 5 and 12 seed. It's a 5 and 12 seed. Oregon State.
All right. Eric?
I'm picking number 5, Tennessee.
All right. A 4 and 13, Oklahoma State. Liberty. Oklahoma State for me.
Yes, sir. Me too.
Yeah. More than half of Oklahoma's games were. Oh, no. It was half. Yeah. Half of Oklahoma State's games were against top 25 teams.
All right. San Diego State is a 6 seed. Syracuse, 11 seed. San Diego State takes this one by a pretty good margin.
The record shows for it.
Tough one for me, though.
Well, trust me, this next matchup's not going to be a
cakewalk.
Tough one for me. Once Eric makes his pick.
Oh, San Diego still. But I feel like this one's one of the tougher decisions we've had to make.
This one's no question for me. West Virginia, let's go. I've been waiting a while for this one.
Great season.
I've been waiting a while for this one. Brian, West Virginia or Moorhead?
Let's go West Virginia, man.
Eric?
Oh, you got to go West Virginia. Come on.
Clemson.
Come on.
Rutgers.
This is not football. Rutgers could do something here.
Rutgers basketball. I'm going with Rutgers.
I don't know.
A lot of the analytics, a lot of the people in the sports industry, they have no chance in Clemson, and neither do I. Rutgers is winning this game.
All right. And finally, Houston, the 2 seed. Cleveland State out of the horizon that barely beat our hometown Oakland Golden Grizzlies in the Horizon Championship game. But this one's no question. Houston, another Texas school.
Houston's had a great season. Being games close, being games they should win. Houston, my bad.
All right, that completes the right side of the bracket for the round of 64. As like we did for the left side, I am going to shoot back up to Baylor and Wisconsin. Baylor will take it over Wisconsin. Nova and Purdue. Purdue will beat Villanova. Utah State and Arkansas. Utah State over Arkansas. Florida, Ohio State. Ohio State over the Gators of Florida. Illinois and Loyola, a state of Illinois matchup. The Fighting Illini will move on and send Loyola and Sister Jean back home. Tennessee, Oklahoma State. Tennessee will advance to meet up with Illinois. San Diego State, West Virginia. West Virginia for me. And Rutgers and Houston. Houston. Part of me wants to take Rutgers, but I don't think they can compete with Houston. So my Sweet 16 on this side. Baylor, Purdue. Baylor is going down. The Boilermakers are going to the Elite Eight. All right. Utah State, Ohio State. Utah State over Ohio State. Yes, sir. Down go the Bucks. Illinois, Tennessee. Illinois. I don't think that's a question there. Tennessee, they make the runs every year, but I don't think they can get past Illinois. West Virginia, Houston. This is a 2-3. Mountaineers of West Virginia for the Sweet 16. So back up, Purdue and Utah State. Oh, boy.
I can't believe I'm hearing this right now.
Oh, boy. Purdue and Utah State. Yeah, that's going to happen. There's a Cinderella here. It's Utah State over Purdue. And then Illinois and West Virginia. And the Fighting Illini will go down as West Virginia heads to the Final Four. All right, I'm down to the Final Four. Brian, you are up.
I don't know if you saw me pass out back there, but that's a very unique bracket. It's possible.
Crazy.
Anything.
It's over the past, I don't know how many years it's been, but there's always been a 5 seed or lower in the Final Four. I think the past 5 to 7 years. There's always been a seed 5 and lower in there. Because as of right now, I have Gonzaga as a 1, Florida State as a 4, and West Virginia 3, and Utah State as an 11. So there you go.
Oh, man. I don't know if my bracket's going to look like yours, but I'll just get started and see how everyone else thinks of this. Baylor.
Right, let's go. Come on.
I have Baylor and Wisconsin. Baylor's having a great season. They're going to go ahead. Villanova, Purdue. You guys need to keep an eye on this area of the bracket because nobody believes in Villanova, but I do. Purdue, no way. Texas Tech and Arkansas. I was talking about these Texas teams, and Texas Tech isn't as big as the other ones, but they know how to play these rough basketball games. Texas Tech will make it. Then Florida, Ohio State. Ohio State's very dominant. Ohio State's going to make it. And like we said, Illinois, we don't have to talk about that. Illinois is just going to make it. And then Oregon State, Oklahoma State, I think it's the biggest toss-up for me in the Midwest. I'm going Oklahoma State on that. Then San Diego State, West Virginia. West Virginia is having a great season. Can't deny that. West Virginia going up there. Then Houston, Rutgers, can't talk about it. Big Ten will represent, but not much. Houston will win that matchup.
Sweet 16.
Baylor, Villanova, the 1 seed goes down. Villanova is making a gigantic run. Then Texas Tech, Ohio State, things get back into order. Ohio State knows what they're doing. Then, like we said, Illinois is making that. Illinois is a great season. As long as their star player stays healthy.
Yep.
Then things will be different. Houston. West Virginia is great, but Houston is very, very, very powerful.
All right.
And Villanova, Ohio State, upset Villanova to the Final Four. Then Illinois, Houston. I think will be a lot closer than what people will think. But Illinois will make it. Say what?
A 1 and a 2.
Yes. But Illinois will make it to the Final Four, and it will be a Villanova-Illinois matchup.
All right, Eric, let's run through it.
Baylor, North Carolina. We're going straight with Baylor here. I love North Carolina. I've been riding them every year. This is the one year that I'm feeling they're not making it too far. Unfortunate spot in the bracket to have to go up against the number 1 in the round of 32. But, I mean, that's just how it is. Of course, we got Villanova, Purdue. They've got more experience against top 10 teams, or top 25 teams still. But it's Nova. They make a run. Purdue makes a run. I'm still picking Nova. Utah State and Colgate.
All right. I like this. 11 against a 14.
And we're picking the 14.
Whoa. All right.
14's going to make it. Straight water, my friend. Living your lifestyle.
Water, my friend.
Straight water.
I got a tub of cookies right here, my friends.
Oh, I got a box of donuts in the drawer next to me. Come on, I always got my donuts with me, though. We got Virginia Tech, Ohio State. Ohio State, they've got 7 more games worth tie against the top 25. Perform better in their conference.
What do you got?
Averaging more points per game. Come on. Ohio State. Going down, we got Illinois. We got Loyola. I love you guys. Loved watching you guys play.
Love your
run.
Ramblers.
Oh yeah. Then we got Tennessee and we got Okie State, Oklahoma State. Okay. Now this is a big one for me.
The Big Ten.
Because I feel
Big 12, SEC.
Tennessee is somebody that's usually got a presence in this tournament, and it usually, in my opinion at least, I usually see them going a little bit further than expected sometimes.
Agreed.
Oklahoma State, though, they're just
right, a cowboy.
Yeah.
And then we have San Diego State, West Virginia for you.
Yes, sir. I want San Diego,
but you know it's West Virginia.
We got West Virginia moving on.
And Rutgers and Houston.
Rutgers. I'm playing in Houston.
Okay. All right. Come on. Baylor and Purdue.
Baylor and Nova. Got you there.
Baylor Nova.
Oh.
I like Nova. I like Baylor. This one is tough because Nova is just one of those schools for me that is like, they make a run. They are the upset team. Don't think they're going to have enough against Baylor for this one.
All right. Colgate? Ohio State.
Okay.
Colgate take down the Buckeyes.
I want it really bad. I really want it to happen.
But
I don't know. Colgate puts up great offensive numbers.
Oh, stop it.
You'll have a lower seed than me.
I want Colgate.
Yes.
I really want Colgate.
Yes, I love it. Love the pick. Can't go wrong with it. All right. Illinois. Hang on, my bad. Illinois, Tennessee.
Oklahoma State.
Or Illinois.
Got him again.
Illinois, Oklahoma State. You're taking.
It doesn't matter. It's Illinois.
West Virginia, Houston. 2 and
This
3.
one, if it comes down to it, it's going to be a tough matchup. I feel like Houston overall has a slightly stronger defense. However, West Virginia's got more experience with the top 25. Not picking up wins there. I'm picking Houston.
All right.
It's just it was swaying one way or the other. I want to see a close game if this happens. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Baylor, right? You got Baylor?
Yep.
Against Colgate. A 1 and a 14.
It's not happening. It's just not happening.
It's Baylor. Okay.
Oh, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Hey,
Oh boy.
He made his Cinderella. He made his Cinderella.
If this actually happened, you guys can give me all the crap in the world, but there's no way.
If this
Noted.
actually happens, oh man, that would be
Right.
fantastic.
Then Illinois, Houston. Who do you got?
I like them both here. I don't want to be the guy that picks all 1 seeds.
What you are.
I'm gonna be the guy that picks all 1 seeds.
All right.
Well.
So we have our final 4. I will go. I have Gonzaga, and I have Florida State. And it's Gonzaga taking it over Florida State to get to a national championship game. And on the other side, the Cinderella Utah State Aggies against the 3rd-seeded West Virginia Mountaineers.
What the heck is that?
West Virginia to the national championship. And then in the national, 1 Gonzaga and a 3-seeded West Virginia. As Gonzaga will join Indiana with the exact same record as Indiana did in '76 with Bobby Knight. They're going undefeated in winning the national championship.
That would be some history.
And I'm even going to throw in a score.
Ooh, let's hear this.
82 to 75. Gonzaga over West Virginia. Brian, your final 4 and your national champion.
Talked about both these teams, how dominant and great they are. Michigan, Gonzaga. You know one of them's got to win. You can't get participation trophies in this. One of them is a winner. Gonzaga, the number 1 overall seed, will make it to national championship.
And
I think Michigan will put up a great fight, but they can't do it.
They will meet.
I may lose you guys on this, but Villanova will beat the Illinois team.
Ho, ho, ho!
This is going to be a huge defensive game played by Villanova. They will hold Illinois to under 70 points, and I'll say to 66 exact. And Villanova will have the offensive presence to win that game to make it to the national championship.
And then it's Gonzaga. Villanova.
A 1 versus a 5.
Yes. And
How many fingers are on one hand?
oh, you're taking Villanova.
Villanova's winning the whole thing.
Oh. I'm not
I will
against it.
also.
I do like that's
Nobody's talking about
Man.
Villanova. Everybody thinks they're going to be out 2nd round or 3rd round. I will give Villanova the win.
just like your bracket will be.
75 67. 8-point win.
Eric,
Pencil drop.
Gonzaga and Michigan to get to the national championship.
As bad as I want it,
The Wolverines go down.
it's not happening. Gonzaga's going to take this one.
And then Baylor and Illinois.
I walk into my sports management and history class, and my professor is from Illinois. He walks in. Well, we're all working on our projects and everything.
Somebody
He
wants extra
pulls
credit
out-
for this pick.
He pulls out brackets. He walks around the class, hands everybody a bracket, and everybody asks him who he's picked. He said, well, I mean, I'm from here, so of course I'm picking Illinois. They're playing great this season. Jake, I'm sorry, I'm picking Baylor. You're not going. So it's going to be Baylor and Gonzaga in the finals.
Whoa, okay, and
Oh, Gonzaga's taking it.
thank you.
Gonzaga's going to take it. And I'm throwing down 84-78.
84 to 78. And that is the men's Division I basketball tournament. All located in Indianapolis for this tournament for this year.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm
All in
excited to
different
see it.
venues across in the city.
Yeah.
And that will do it for this one. For our 3rd or 4th, I can't remember, 3rd or 4th Bracketology show. Hope this helped with your picks. got some interesting ones, especially with like 13 seeds, 12 seeds, 14 seeds,
Out here.
and 5 seeds making big runs and stuff like that. So with that will do it for this show. And make sure you tune in next week. Even though the tournament's going to be going in the spirit of March Madness, the three of us will be doing a bracket based on about a 36-person bracket of the greatest guests in show history. So we pick the best guest that we've ever had.
This is gonna get me sweating.
March Madness style, bracket style. So make sure you tune in for that. Brian, Eric, thanks for coming on again as doing this as always for tradition. And happy 20th birthday, Brian.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Always welcome.
And best of luck to everyone in your brackets. And finally, the madness has returned. Not the madness of the COVIDs, but the madness of college basketball is back. And shout out to my Chippewas. We're going all the way. We're winning the national championship for them. Just saying. We're taking down UConn. Just saying. Boom.
Down.
Boom. Taking them down. But until next week, when we pick the best of the best from the Hot Seat Sports Talk, guest-wise. Until then, as always, keep it fresh.